What's up, guys? Hunter Frontier back at it again with another video. In this video, guys, I'm going to teach you how to beat the ODION APOPHIS strategy coming straight from Maze of the Master. Now, if you guys have already played this deck or versed against it, let me know if these guides will actually help. If not, let me know down below what you would include as well. If you guys haven't watched this, definitely go ahead and leave a comment down below as well. But please let me know if these guides are helping you and I should make more in the future. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you guys are not subscribed and turn that notification bell on. All right, let's get started with this one. And again, straight from Maze of the Master, such a great strategy. And it's honestly reminds me of a lot of like anti-meta decks. It's a great, trap-based deck. We do love our trap-based decks over here, like Elwich, of course. But let's go ahead and get started with this guide. So we do have ODION support, right? So ODION, just like with past character supports, some are either good or bad. What we got with like Ishizu, that was broken, right? With Teal'c and other types of decks, but ODION is its own deck, which I do like, and it is very, very strong. So let's go right into this. Of course, we have Anubis, the Last Judge, and this is a card that cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned from your hand or graveyard, while you control 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps by placing 2 of them on the bottom of the deck in any order. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add the man with the mark, the other main deck monster, from your deck to the hand. If a spell or trap you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. So I think a lot of the time too, people are going to get that like negative effect where, try to clear your back row or destroy a card in your back. They're going to get punished for that, which is great to see. And then, of course, each effect is once per turn. Moving on, we have the man with the mark. It's great that we have like these, 1 to 1.5 card combos with these decks nowadays. If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can take 1 Temple of the Kings or 1 trap card that mentions it from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You use the effect of the man with the mark once per turn. When you control Temple of the Kings, this card and the APOPHIS monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Temple of the Kings you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Again, very good protection against, back row destroying cards. And then we do have, and of course that card is also great with searching too, to get you what you need. Now we have the Merciless Scorpion of Seraph. So this one, by banishing 1 level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck, while you control Temple of the Kings, you can pretty much special summon this. And then once per turn during the May phase, you can add 1 Temple of the Kings or 1 spell card that mentions it from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. If you do, this card gains attack equals to half the destroyed monster's original attack. So again, a lot of things going on. I like the fact that you can banish a level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck, which is pretty crazy. Next up, we have Divine Serpent APOPHIS. 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by triggering 2 APOPHIS monsters. So great to summon it on field, and it's a great card to have on the field because once per turn, you can target up to 3 APOPHIS traps with different names in your graveyard, set them. Once per turn, if a trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you can just target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. So again, a lot of these cards are destroying stuff and also keeping you in control of the game, which you do want to see. Now this one, you won't really see much. You have 1 Seraph monster, plus 1 monster 2500 or less. Attack, this card is special summoned, or at the start of the damage step, this card battles an opponent's monster. You can target 1 face of monster your opponent controls, or in their graveyard, banish it, and if you do, this card gains attack equals to half the banished monster's original attack. You can, of course, activate this once per turn, can make an additional attack during each battle phase, while a level 10 or higher monster is banished. Next up, we do have Treasures of the Kings, and great, important, field spell. This card is activated. You can set 1 APOPHIS trap from your deck. This card's name becomes Temple of the Kings. So again, it's additional names. You are playing the original Temple of the Kings that came out in the Merrick structure deck, but then you are playing, max copies of Treasures of the Kings with something like Terraforming 2 for more ways to get to it. While this card is in the field zone, then once per turn, if you have 2 or more set cards on your field or a trap in your grave, you can add a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings from your deck to your hand. So you see a lot of things are just kind of looping to get you to that end board potential. Next up, we do have Defense of the Temple. This will help you fusion summon if you don't want to use the other way of just summoning the monster on field, but it will take monsters from your hand or field if you use a monster you control that mentions Temple of the Kings, you can also use face-up monsters your opponent controls as materials, which is really cool. If you control Temple of the Kings, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Dangers of the Divine, which is their trap, from the deck to hand. We have APOPHIS, the Serpent, one of the ones you are consistently playing in the deck. Of course, it is a trap monster, and pretty much when this card is active, when it's special summoned, you can set a APOPHIS trap from your deck onto the field. It can be activated this turn. As this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 embodiment of APOPHIS from your deck to your hand. Then we have APOPHIS, the Swamp Deity. During the main phase, special summon this card as a normal monster, reptile, earth, level 6, you guys already know. 2000 attack is crazy though. Then you can negate the effects of face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of other continuous traps you control. So again, I just love how we're having so much synergy. We have Verdict of Anubis. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while you control 3 or more other spell or trap cards, they get the activation. If you do, destroy that card. So this is, of course, your counter trap. And then if you control the Temple of the Kings, you destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the total original attack of those destroyed monsters. Just so much punishment. It's just crazy. And I like how you see like the Joey cards on the side. Next up, we do have their end board. And like I said, a board like this might seem offhand like, oh, it's not that strong. But again, remember that you're getting a lot of this off a 1 to 1.5 card combo. And the fact that you still have, 3 other cards in your hand, depending on if you go first or second. But regardless, it's great coverage. You can negate cards, destroy them. You also can end up setting the Verdict of Anubis down as well for additional support. And then you have a strong boss monster in Divine Serpent APOPHIS. So again, a lot of things are in play. You can end with a Man on the Mark on board as well, which will provide additional protection for your back row. So a lot of things are going, in motion. And even, if you have the other monster on field, if they do attempt to destroy something, you can destroy something. So a lot of things are going on, but I would definitely not underestimate an end board like this. Moving on, we do have some deck counters that I do want to discuss. And again, if you see any that you are like, wow, I haven't seen this or this doesn't work, let me know down below. Let's have a conversation about it. But starting off, we do have for hand traps, Ash Blossom, right? Again, Ash is universally good against anything, and it's great against Judge, Mark. You can even use it against the field spell, even the APOPHIS, the Serpent. So anything that is searching, trying to get you to start that 1 card combo, immediately stop. A lot of times they could just be trying to activate something and then seeing if they can try to get it out. But regardless, you can't risk that because, you do want to have at least 1 to 2 hand traps in combination to try to stop your opponent, or even more if you draw into it. But regardless, Ash is generally good against all those targets that want to search. Then we do have, of course, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and this is good against Treasures of the King. Of course, it is their field spell, and once they activate the effect, you just say no to that and you Ghost Ogre. Next up, Droll. Droll again is amazing as the deck because they do want to keep adding cards from their deck to hand, and that's something that Droll can just completely stop. Next up, Infinite Impermanence. These targets, of course, are very important. You do want to hit the Judge, the Man at the Mark. Again, this negating the effects in terms of like protecting their back row as well, or reacting to when you destroy their back row, they're going to pop something on your field. And it could be something important that you're trying to go through with your combo. I would even go ahead and negate the fusion monster they have on board. Again, you just want to be completely safe and get rid of that. And even with Silhouette Rabbit, if you do get a chance to, let's say you get to a point where you've negated other things, they get up to a Silhouette Rabbit, you want to just stop them from getting the statue from their deck and setting it on field. So again, that's another option for you to have just in case, but Silhouette Rabbit is a great card for this deck and the extra deck. Next up, we do have for hand traps. So we're gonna go from the right to left. We have Effect Veiler, and again, same thing with Infinite Impermanence. All of these are monsters, you do want to negate them. Same thing with Ghost, Mourner, and Moonlit Chill. Again, now they might continue to keep going, but they will take damage. Regardless, you do want to go ahead and just negate the same targets. When it comes to Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, there are a lot of cards you could hit in the extra deck. Most of the time, if you're not already playing like the mirror match, you could always just, if you are playing Silhouette Rabbit, definitely get rid of Silhouette Rabbit. So again, they don't have that next step in their combo. Same thing what you could do if you are playing the mirror match, you want to hit the fusion, but also the Gallant Granted, because this card will actually add something like one of their important cards or the Nibiru, the Primal Being. Next up, we do have Contact C, and it's great, I would say, when they go either Judge, you can activate it, or they go Man with the Mark, activate it. At that point, hopefully they won't be able to actually get it off field, or even if they do end up getting it off field, at that point it could sort of interrupt them. It's not the strongest one here, I would say, but if you are, you know, just low on spots and you want to test some cards out, I would say it's a decent card, not the best, but it is another option to look at. Next up, we have some powerful spells, and again, let me know down below what you think, but a lot of these spells will do the job. You know, a lot of the time when they're not protecting their back row, Harpy's Feather Duster can just clear everything out. You do have something like Deck Lockdown that is essentially just draw a Lockbird, but it's a continuous spell, and that's also something great. I wouldn't go ahead and try to mess with them while you have it on field, because then they can get the effect off to destroy with the Anubis, destroy it, and then that's, you know, they're pretty much good to go with their continuously adding from deck to hand. But regardless, it's great to have if you can somehow protect it or just leave it on field. Then you do have Super Polymerization to clear all their monsters away. That's something that you do want to see, and then again, it won't touch their back row and activate additional effects. Then you have Lightning Storm, again, get rid of their monsters, or even their back row. Lightning Storm can just clear away, hopefully. If they don't have Temple of the Kings, you can clear the Man with the Mark as well. Cosmic Cyclone is great because it doesn't destroy, it just banishes, which is nice. It targets and banishes, so it's not a bad card to have. And then a great card is Dimensional Fissure, because it really will get rid of the monsters and they won't recur it back. They don't have an ability to bring banished monsters back into the deck or the graveyard. There's no other way. So once they're banished, that's pretty much it. Next up, guys, we do have should you play these cards. So starting out with Nibiru the Primal Being. So this is more of a yes or no situation. Now, if you're saying you want the maximum effect with your hand traps, I would say no, don't do it. But if you do have it, you know, in your hand, it's something that you can activate. They do get to that with summon pretty quickly. So you can go ahead and drop the rock, but there are ways for them to recur some of their monsters. So you do want to be careful with that. Now, with D-Shifter, I will say is an excellent choice, especially, you know, with their monsters. You want to get rid of those cards and go immediately to the banish zone. They might actually just, you know, some of their monsters, set some cards and end their turn because they want to try to get off of that D-Shifter mode. So that's a great card to use, again, if it's not affecting your strategy. And then we do have Summon Limit, and again, I would say that this is a great card as well because it will sort of end their turn faster. They won't even get to the Silhouette Rabbit at all. You know, if they're going Anubis, they're going Man with the Mark. At that point, they're maybe using a card to kind of go into a link, but once they hit that second summon, that's it. They won't be able to make it. So that's something that you guys definitely want to, you know, keep in mind. And then of course we have Dimensional Barrier, and this is just great because you call Fusion, you're good. You can't really call Link, of course, because that's not a choice, but Gallant Granite is not a bad one too, because again, it's adding them an important card in their hands. But I will say for Fusion, it's decent, but it's not the best choice. You know, they're not playing a mono Fusion deck, Synchro deck. It's all kind of just all over the place with the extra deck. But guys, that is all I have for you for today's video, for today's guide against the ODION APOPHIS strategy. But guys, that's all I have for you for today's video. If you guys liked the video, make sure you give it a huge like, comment down below your thoughts on cards that are definitely great against this strategy. And if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so you're updated the next time I upload new videos. All right, guys, all I have for you for this one. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day or night, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.